This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major updates to share with you when it comes to Social Security. I'll let you know the new payment schedule for September of 2022. Also, first of the $841 is going to be sent out in just 8 days. There's a double payment this month for SSI. And also when it comes to student loan forgiveness, big announcement has been made. Some people are actually getting $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. I'll give you both the Democrat and Republican perspective on that, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I am picking the winners for the $200 checks later on in the video. Stay tuned for that. But first, Social Security schedule, when September 2022 benefits will be sent. So just in case you weren't sure of this, so if your birthday is on the 1st to the 10th of the month, your payment is distributed on Wednesday, September 14th. If your birthday is 11th to the 20th, then your payment will be distributed September 21st. And if your birth date is the 21st to 31st, your payment is distributed on Wednesday the 28th. If we look at the calendar right here, we could see this Wednesday over here, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. So that's when the payments are going out for Social Security. And then Social Security payments, first half of the $1,682 direct payment to be sent in just 8 days. So if you're on SSI, the maximum benefit you could get is $841. And depending on you, regardless, your payment is going to be sent on September 1st. But there's also another payment, a double payment for September, so it's going to be on September 1st, and you get your second payment on September 30th. So if we look back at the calendar, you could see that on the 1st, Thursday, you get it, and then on the 30th, which is Friday, you're going to get your second payment for SSI. Only a few months out of the year. It's also April and December that you get this double payment. Back to student loans, made the big announcement earlier today. So Biden is canceling up to $10,000 in student loans, $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. So some people could actually get up to $20,000 off their student loans. The debate is still out. It's going back and forth. You have Democrats saying this is a good idea, but also some Democrats saying it's not a good idea. Republicans are mainly all against it. So I'm going to give you both perspectives here. Starting off with the Republican perspective, Mitch McConnell saying Biden's student loan forgiveness, a wildly unfair redistribution of wealth. So I'm really curious what you think. The way this works out is it's going to be $10,000 of student loan debt for borrowers making less than $125,000 annually. So Mitch McConnell not too happy there, saying it is a slap in the face to those in the workforce who made sacrifices to pay off their debt, as well as those who made different career choices to avoid student debt. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? Take a look at this video clip of the Republican perspective here, then I'll give you the Democrat perspective after that.
Kevin Brady joins us right now, the Texas congressman, ranking member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Of course, he was the genius behind the tax cuts that came to pass under the Trump administration. Probably not a big fan of this spending right now. Congressman, good to have you.
Good to see you, Neil. And you're right, I'm not a fan. One, because I don't believe this is legal. Look, the president is trying to use taxpayers as a personal campaign slush fund, and it's wrong. And I don't believe he has the legal authority to do it. But I think, to your bigger point, this is just so unfair. So I have a neighbor who's a detective who's worked 3 jobs as long as I've known him, including selling carpet. Plus, his wife worked to make sure that their daughter could go to a state college, a good quality college, and come out of there debt-free. So now they have to pay taxes to pay off, after all that sacrifice of years, pay off the debt of someone else's student loan. And I just think here you've got under President Biden. So under this scheme, you've got a single mom who'll pay off the debt for a computer scientist. You've got a plumber who'll pay off the debt of a physician assistant. You've got a janitor who'll pay off the student debt of a IT architect or a psychologist. You know, how is that fair in anyone's world? It just isn't. And so we are going to fight this because it is illegal. It is unfair. And as you said, it will drive inflation and college costs higher.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, to your point, the president can do this. He says since this would not be a legislative initiative and it would be just added to the debt, I think that's one of the arguments they're going to make. that it's okay. But I don't know enough about the mechanics of how things work in Washington to know whether you can do something like that in Washington.
Yeah, I can't. I've never in all my years seen anything like this. $300 billion at the stroke of a pen on student debt. Again, desperate to try to salvage both the midterm elections and his presidency. I don't expect Democrats in Congress to do anything but salute this, even though most of this goes to the wealthy and predominantly Anglo. College students, I don't see them lifting a finger, but I think a lot of America, once they hear about this, are going to be very angry.
And it depends as well, Congressman, right, on how this $10,000 is handled, right? Whether the government cuts a check to college kids or those who are falling under this $125,000 and under, ratio, or just lops it off from whatever overall loans they have. I mean, it could have very different consequences, right?
Yeah, it will, and I think there are a lot of Americans. I think like me, I worked a lot of jobs through college, from construction worker, janitor, meat packer, worked bartender, waiter, all of that. Still had a small student debt I had to pay off over the years. There are a lot of Americans who've done the exact same thing who will believe this is absolutely unfair.
And there are, to your point, many who have dutifully paid off their loans who are probably hearing about this. And then you have to worry, Congressman, about the unintended consequences, those who are left out of this, who aren't going to get part of it. But furthermore, those who might be in arrears on their auto loan payments or their mortgage payments. We have a record number of Americans now, 20 million by last count, who are late on their utility payments. So isn't everyone going to want, some of this?
Yeah, there is no doubt. It always, giveaways and bailouts always encourage more giveaways and bailouts, especially of this size. But can you imagine, we are in debt already. The infrastructure bill isn't going to reduce debt. Neither is this latest Inflation Reduction Act going to reduce inflation or the debt in any way. But can you imagine, if you had a fraction of that $300 billion, how we have a worker shortage. We need trades, we need skills, we need drivers, we need assembly line workers, all that. Can you imagine if just a fraction of that was devoted to reconnecting to work in higher skilled jobs that, frankly, our economy desperately needs, what that could do to actually grow the economy and give people opportunity rather than just pay off the debt for those who, went to college, got a degree, and still owe that debt.
There might also be the notion that for those who can't take advantage of this latest relief plan, if they just wait it out or you continue not paying their monthly loan payments, eventually help will be on the way. Do you worry about that?
I do, and I think that's already the expectation. Just as we saw, those ongoing stimulus checks create the sort of expectation that there'll be more, those very lavish unemployment benefits that really discourage people from reconnecting to work. We saw still the hangover from that today. I think you'll see it's human nature. And when you've got a president willing again, I think, to tap everyone's working families to pay for what he hopes will be political votes come, November or in his own reelection. I think you've really created a moral hazard here. And
you could have more voting against the president or Democrats if they're not part of this gravy train, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The forgotten man and forgotten woman, who will end up, paying for all of this, who've worked their whole lifetime, maybe didn't go to college, went to a skill or worked to pay off their own debt or their kids' student loans because they didn't need to have them. I think there'll be a real anger among working families.
Real quickly, the administration has argued in the past that a lot of these kids were snookered into loans and signing on the dotted line. I always say that's an unfair indictment of kids that they're that stupid. What do you think?
Yeah, it really is. And for the most part, it's the students and the families making those decisions. Right. And, it looks easy to rack up $40,000 or $50,000 of debt until you realize just what an anchor it is around you, as you're trying to pay it off. And I think student debt, frankly, is one of our big challenges in the economy. This is exactly the wrong way to go about it.
What are your thoughts on student loan forgiveness, of it being unfair? Do you agree, disagree? Do you have any student loans? If you did have student loans and $10,000 were forgiven, are you happy about that? Let me know your thoughts. Well, Elizabeth Warren calls student loan cancellation good for our economy in contrast of the Republican perspective, saying it's going to cause more inflation. Democrats are saying it's going to decrease inflation and help out the economy. Take a look at what Elizabeth Warren has to say here.
The Republican Party is certainly not throwing a ticker tape parade over this. And in fact, they seem bullish on this, the utility of this as a political cudgel. I will quote Tom Cotton. There is no such thing as student loan forgiveness. This is a bailout paid for the large majority of Americans who never went to college or who responsibly paid off their debts. There is nothing the Republican Party loves more than a culture war. And they see this as ripe. This is, we know that education is the dividing line in American politics. It's what really separates the Republican Party from the Democratic Party. And Republicans are going to make hay of this and say, this is another handout to the liberal elitist base, courtesy of Joe Biden. The Republican Party is a party of the grassroots working class. Setting aside the validity of that, what is the Democratic response to that? How are Democrats going to field this line of complaints? And it will be something you see a lot of between now and November.
My answer is bring it on. Bring it on. $20,000 in student loan debt forgiveness goes to people who had Pell Grants. 95% of the people who have Pell Grants come from families with incomes of less than $60,000. The people who are being helped here, 42% of them don't even have a college diploma. These are not people who went to Harvard the way that Tom Cotton did. These are people who have been scratching it out at state schools, at historically black colleges and universities. They have had to borrow money to get there. They've had to borrow money to stay there, and they've had the hardest time paying off their debts on the other side. And here's the bottom line on this one. Debt cancellation is wildly popular across this country. 2 out of 3 Americans basically say, yeah, we need to do it. The big argument among those who think there should be debt cancellation is whether you ought to cancel 100% of it or whether you ought to focus more of the energy on those who need the help the most. The Republicans have got nothing here. And what we have to remember as we have this fight is there's nobody left in America who doesn't know someone who is struggling with student loan debt. It's everywhere around us. It's our neighbors, it's our friends, it's our families, it's our coworkers, it's our fellow students, it's the people we live with and work with. And what's happening to those folks right now? They can't move out of mom's basement. They can't save up money to buy a home. They can't start a small business. Heck, a lot of them can't even start a family, all because of the sin that they wanted to try to get an education and they weren't born into a family that could write a check to make that happen. Today, the president took a powerful step towards saying, we're just going to level the playing field at least a little. We're going to say to folks, get out there and give it a try. And if you do, we're going to invest in you. We're going to help a little with that student loan debt. That's the way we build a stronger country. And understand this, when people can start those small businesses, when they can save up and try to buy a home, they not only help themselves, they help build the economy for all of us. Economists will tell you, following World War II, when the returning GIs got the GI Bill benefits, that it not only helped them, that it returned to the American economy money many-fold over what we invested. Why? Because it helped make us a richer nation overall. That's the first step that the president and the Democrats have taken today. And the Republicans, what if they got to answer that with nothing? They've
Goose
got
egg.
nothing. They are the party of no. They got no ideas. They got nothing. So they're going to try a little, their version of class warfare. Well, let the Harvard boys try it. It's not going to work.
What are your thoughts there? Did Elizabeth Warren convince you about student loan forgiveness even if you don't have any? Is it a good idea? Bad idea? What are your thoughts? And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day, and then I'll pick the winners for the $200 checks.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Just so you know, you guys are great to me. You guys are special to me. I need you here beside me. And you are so nice. Do you know why? Cause you're so nice right now. You're giving me a lot of subscribers, and I love it. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Wise Flies community. To show my appreciation to you, I will pick the winners for those $200 checks. Been doing this on a monthly basis, and gotta say, it's been a lot of fun and very fulfilling on my part, but also it's mainly because of you. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you, for all of your support. Continually watching on a daily basis really means a lot to me, so I just want to give back to the community. So let's get into it. So we had to do the comments on this video here. So we're going to go to pick a winner. And yeah, basically what you had to do was just write the word thankful and what you were thankful for. Because I believe in appreciating what you have, being thankful. It switches up your mindset so that you focus on the good more than the bad, which is kind of why I have Bella's tip of the day and try to share some family photos and videos at the end. So just to hopefully brighten you a little bit. I know you want the news, but you know, got to make it a little bit more positive as well. So the first winner is Chastity Pope. Thankful. I'm thankful for having good health and thankful for having such beautiful and loving children. That is awesome. Congratulations, Chastity. The next winner is John Zaker. Thankful for love, life, and the good Lord above. Amen to that, and congratulations. Also, I forgot to mention that if you won, I have my contact information down in the description below. Reach out to me. I'll just have to verify a few things just to make sure it's actually you, and then I'll send you the check, just a $200 check. And the next winner is Pam Norsworthy. Thankful for God leaving me with one leg and one arm. Congratulations on winning, Pam, and I'm glad that you're thankful for that. And also for all the other people out there who did not win this time, I will be doing it again. But thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it, and I love that you get to spend some time with me. Really makes me happy, and I hope you get some joy out of this as well. Anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos and my other channels, you could click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.